Hello, welcome back to this new episode of the IR Strikes Back. So today,
We talk about Wicked Part 1.
yes, because if you don't live under a rock, you know that Wicked 2 is coming sooner than you think.
If you are ready, let's go.
Okay, as per usual, you might not see our point in how it's about politics or geopolitics. But this time, if you don't see it, I don't know what to tell you. Look at your algorithm, type politics wicked, and you're going to see everything. And your mind is going to be open to all knowledge. The movie Wicked is again about the side of a villain, Elphaba, which will become the Wicked Witch of the East, that Dorothy has to defeat in order to free the inhabitant of Oz. But this time, this story shows us another side of the Wizard of Oz. This story is all about perspective, how we tell a story, because nowadays, due to social medias, it's easy to manipulate the way that certain events happens, and this movie is directly on that. The fact that we can manipulate stories to make people believe more one side than another.
Like during the World War, each side have their own way to tell their story.
Depending on where you were raised, you were not told the same things. For example, the World War I, World War II, or even the Cold War. There's the ending of the World War II. Did you know that, in fact, the reason why most of Europe was freed from the Nazi, it was due to the fact that the Russians managed to deal with their own front and deal with the Nazi, and they advanced towards Europe to free some countries from Eastern Europe. And the Allies, such as the United States, the United Kingdom, and Canada, had to hurry up to get to Europe first to see that they contributed. Otherwise, Russia would have been considered the only real savior winner of World War II. This is why the Normandy landings is so important in Western history. It's considered as being one of the key moments that allowed the Allies to win the war. But in fact, at that moment, Russia was already marching on Nazis' bases.
To continue, the movie show us some engraving in the wall. When they broke, Elphaba saw another side of the story. This makes me think of Bolzano Bozen. In this region of Italia, they have a story linked with the communism. On their building, they have some engraving representing some communism value. And they doesn't ally with this value anymore, so they just took it off. But at the same time, they didn't completely took it off because it still represents their story. So in Wicked, we can see that an engraving can represent a story, and at the same time, engraving can hide another side of the story.
And in Wicked, we go from an engraving of the wizard being surrounded by people, from what I remember, to a community underneath composed of animals. And this is a hint of what will happen further in the with the talking animals that had a really important place at Shiz University. We can see that there's only one talking animals that remains as a teacher at Shiz. And all the other teachers are humans. For example, Madame Morbid is human, and she's shown to occupy a really important place at the university. And we don't see any students that are animals.
We can link that with the story of Canada. Why? Because in Canada we have the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which states that Indigenous need to tell us their story. That being said, we can move forward in the reconciliation process. If we come back to Wicked, the animal cannot tell their story.
Because they've been forbidden to appear, to be seen.
This is kind of similar with Canada's story, with the Indigenous.
For a long time, we ignored that narrative.
Yes, we still need to make progress, but things are starting to change. In Wicked,
The animals gathers during the night not to be discovered by the authorities that are working for the wizard. So doesn't that remind you of something? Think about it. If you're from Gen Z, think about it. You must have grandparents or great-grandparents that have lived this era. Especially if you're from a European country, you know what we're talking about. Doesn't this make you think about the resistance to Nazi occupation in Belgium, in some part of France, and many other European countries? Doesn't that makes you think about the illegal, so-called illegal meetings that took place in basements or hidden parts of factories, of people that wanted to change things? Doesn't that makes you think about what we're currently seeing, but in a more clear way, because we have social media, so we are gathering up people through a more public way, but still. So the fact that the animals gathers up at night not to be discovered really reminds us of these group of people that wanted to resist the Nazi.
lastly, we can talk about something a little bit more positive.
So here, this movie tries to portray the wizard as being a lot of authoritative figures. If you know who we're talking about, you know that these days we value more being popular than being actually skilled for the task. And that's something that we talk in one of the songs.
Exactly, in the song Popular, it said it's all about popular, it's not about aptitude. It's the way you are viewed. If you want to learn more about the personality cult, you can see our episode about Fantastic Beasts.
And talking about personality cult, we see clearly that there's a narrative that is favored regarding the wizard. Because when Elphaba and Glinda or Glinda arrive at the Emerald City, we see that as soon as they arrive, there is some kind of singing show that is put in place that implicates all the city of Oz. And it's to sing the praises of the wizard. And I was able to read some parts of the grimoire. And singing this song is like entertaining a certain vision of things and asking the people that visit the Emerald City to only see this narrative and the wizard in this specific way. But we see in the movie that Elphaba discovers that it might not be the truth, not be what the Ozians are trying to tell them when they first arrives, and not what she has learned in her books, because it goes beyond just the song of the Ozian welcoming Elphaba and Glinda. Because we see from the flashback from when Elphaba was young with her sister, we see that she's holding a book, and that book retold the story of the wizard. And you see that it's specifically tailored for children. And what is happening right now in the world? What is happening with books? Some countries have started to forbidden the use of some books in classes, because if you control your narratives, what is taught to children, it's easier to impose your vision of things.
If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel, and put in comments something that we might have missed with this analysis.
And look forward to our second video on Wicked 2. Ciao!